Ladies and gentlemen, environmental author, lawyer, and activist for the Waterkeeper Alliance and the National Resources Defense Council, Robert F. Kennedy, Jr.
Thank you. Now, we've all heard the oil industry and the coal industry and their indentured servants in the political process telling us that global climate stability is a luxury that we can't afford, that we have to choose now between economic prosperity on the one hand and environmental protection on the other. And that is a false choice. In 100% of the situations, good environmental policy is identical to good economic policy. If we want to measure our economy, and this is how we ought to be measuring it, based upon how it produces jobs and the dignity of jobs over the generations, how it preserves the values of the assets of our community, and how it averts the catastrophe of global warming. If, on the other hand, we want to do what they've been urging us to do on Capitol Hill, which is to treat the planet as if it were a business in liquidation, convert our natural resources to cash as quickly as possible, have a few years of pollution-based prosperity, we can generate an instantaneous cash flow and the illusion of a prosperous economy, but our children are going to pay for our joyride. With denuded landscapes, with poor health, with huge cleanup costs, and with climate chaos, which is going to amplify over time and that they will never be able to pay. Environmental injury is deficit spending. It's a way of loading the costs of our generation's prosperity onto the backs of our children. Climate change is upon us. Its impacts are going to be catastrophic, and we are causing it. The good news is we have the scientific and technological capacity to avert its most catastrophic impacts. We only need the political will. If we raise fuel economy standards in our automobiles by 1 mile, and we generate twice the amount of oil that's in the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. If we raise fuel economy standards by 7.6 miles per gallon, we yield more oil than we now import from the Persian Gulf. We could eliminate 100% of Persian Gulf oil. Think about what that would do for our economy, for our foreign policy, for our global leadership. It would dramatically improve our balance of payments, reduce our national debt, and make all of us more prosperous and more independent, and spare us from wars in the Mideast that are costing us already $1 trillion, and from entanglements with Mideastern dictators who despise democracy and are hated by their own people. Now, you've heard today a lot of people say that there are many little things that you all can do to avert climate change on your own. But I will tell you this. It is more important than buying compact fluorescent light bulbs or than buying a fuel-efficient automobile. The most important thing you can do is to get involved in the political process and get rid of all these rotten politicians that we have in Washington, D.C. who are nothing more than corporate toadies for companies like Exxon and Southern Company, these villainous companies that consistently put their private financial interests ahead of American interests and ahead of the interest of all of humanity. This is treason, and that we need to start treating them now as traitors. And they have their slick public relations firms and their phony think tanks in Washington, D.C., and their crooked scientists who are lying to the American people day after day after day. And we have a press that has completely let down American democracy. That's giving us Anna Nicole Smith and Paris Hilton instead of the issues that we need to understand to make rational decisions in a democracy, like global warming. And so I'm going to tell you this. that the next time you see John Stossel or Glenn Beck or Rush Limbaugh or Sean Hannity, these flat earthers, these corporate toadies lying to you, lying to the American public, and telling you that global warming doesn't exist. You send an email to their advertisers and tell them you're not going to buy their products anymore. And I want you to remember this, that we are not protecting the environment for the sake of the fishes and the birds. We're protecting it because nature is the infrastructure of our communities. And if we want to meet our obligation as a generation, as a civilization, as a nation, which is to create communities for our children that provide them with the same opportunities for dignity and enrichment and good health and prosperity and stability as the communities that our parents gave us, we've got to start by protecting our environmental infrastructure. The air we breathe, the water we drink, the wildlife, the public lands, the things that connect us to our past, to our history, that provide context to our communities, and that are the source ultimately of our values and our virtues and our character as a people and the future of our children. And I will see all of you on the barricades.
Power down.